What's up, guys? Sean here with Blue Ridge Silverhound, welcoming you to another great coin collecting video. This time, this is something that I've been waiting for quite a while. The auction show circuit has been a little quiet recently, with the pandemic going on and everything like that. But I'm happy to announce the full recap of some of the biggest hits from the 2020 Heritage Auctions Central States Numismatic Show, also CSNS for short. We're going to do a recap on every type of coin series for the U.S., starting with some pretty gosh darn good-looking U.S. coin errors. Believe it or not, some of these are an interesting kind of talk because a few of these coins have been either found in circulation at one point, or they were cherry-picked out of like dealer stock, or they were found in collections. It's really kind of hard to say. It's just kind of scanning over the list. I'm like, some of these have considerable amount of circulation wear, and we're going to talk all about it. So this is a really cool segment. Again, we're going to recap more CSNS show coverage that went on from the 23rd to the 26th, all right? And there was also foreign coins, there was paper money. Don't know if I'll get through that, those other two genres of collecting, but rest assured, we're going to take a look at some pretty wild U.S. coins throughout this whole week. So stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun. So U.S. coin errors, that's where we're at. And then, before we get started, I got to do my good old YouTube thing. Go ahead and like the video. Feel free to share the video, and of course, subscribe. Show your brother Blue a lot of support during these trying times. So just simply hit that subscribe button. All of the extra support certainly is appreciated. So let's go ahead and jump into the first coin on the list. And actually, we have two separate listings that have a two-coin bundle lot. And we're going to start off with this first two-coin bundle lot right here. We have a 1960 Washington quarter that was actually struck on a silver dime planchet. Okay, it's a dime planchet that was intended strictly for Roosevelt dimes. Somehow, some way, an errant silver dime planchet got mixed in with all the quarters, and then there you go. We have this beauty right here. Keeping in mind that these coins are not filed down, they're not shaved down, they're not damaged. Based on what we're seeing here, this is a coin that generally gets that kind of misconception thrown in there. And we want to make sure that coins of this nature, unless you have evident tooling marks on the edge, these are the real deal. Okay, and then coins like this do pop up on occasion. There's actually one later on in the video that I can honestly say I have witnessed various roll searchers on these forum sites like Collectors Universe and Coin Community and Coin Talk that have found some off-metal strikes. It's pretty phenomenal. So we have this coin here, Pcgs Au 58. Now, keeping in mind the AU about uncirculated, which generally indicates that this coin has at one point seen some pretty regular circulation to get down to this grade level. I mean, it's not a beater by any stretch, but it definitely exhibits some of the high wear on the devices of the coin, the design and all the features that come with it. So this is a pretty coin. The next one that we have here is similar, okay? Only this time it's a 1965 Washington quarter that was struck on a copper nickel clad planchet, okay? Not silver. So same premise, okay? Keep an eye out for these type of coins. They could pop up anywhere. These have popped up in old collections and things like that as kind of an oddity. It used to be that back when these coins were distributed in mint-sewn bags, that people have found these back in the day during the 60s. All right, they call it the quality wasn't nearly as good and ironclad as it is today, even though I have seen some pretty neat U.S. coin error whoppers, even in some of the newest coins. When you add in the human element to the production of these wonderful monetary pieces, anything can happen. All right, so this 2-coin lot sold for $990. It's a pretty nice bargain considering what you're getting. 2 coins for the price of 1, both struck on dime planchets. All right, so the next one that we have here is a 1912S Lincoln Wheat Cent that has an obvious off-center. It's about 5% off-center. Off-center coins, even going back into the Indian head cent kind of era, not rare at all. Okay, generally you could pick up a really nice example on even some of those Indian head cents for around $200 to $300, and they're a great kind of like showcase statement piece to own because of just the sheer age of them. But there are dedicated collectors that wrangle in nothing but off-center coins, and based off of what I've known and the information that I've gathered from these experts, is that there are a number of various kind of what they call quote-unquote keys when it comes to off-centers. Like, you just don't see them ever, you know. A lot of the early San Francisco minted Lincoln Wheat Cents from 1909 into the 30s are really difficult to find, okay, based off of what I know. So, you know, the survival rate might be 1 or 2 known in existence for each one of those dates. And there's probably a few dates in which there are no known examples. That's pretty interesting. But this one right here definitely fits the bill as being one of those kind of date mint-mark rarities for off-center coins. Now, the coin you see here is a PCGS Mint State 64 Brown, a really nice presentable piece. Again, it says struck 5% off-center, and it says mint error on the label. This one sold for a cool $1,200 on Heritage here over the weekend. Pretty cool example. All right, so here's a coin that I wanted to bring up. It was on the list, and this is a coin that comes up on occasion, or at least it used to. Okay, I think these the last example that I know of that was found in like a bankroll or a change was probably about 5 years ago. So you don't see them nearly as often as you do probably 10 to 20 years ago. But what we have here is another 2-coin lot featuring a 1978D Jefferson nickel that was struck on a bronze 3.11 grams cent planchet. All right, pretty neat. You have a nickel that is obviously copper colored, red, very beautiful. It's also worth mentioning that this is also part of the New England collection, and it is an NGC Mint State 65 red brown. Okay, it's just a really pretty coin, a really neat error. And you know, if it wasn't encapsulated, this is a coin that you could easily buy for between $150 to $300. All right, pretty reasonable. So the second coin in the lot is one in which it's a little bit later. It's a 1993 Philadelphia. Again, this one was struck on a modern copper-coated zinc planchet, so it weighs out at 2.5 grams. Part of the same collection, New England. And this is a NGC Mint State 66 red example. Again, a very striking coin, very beautiful, showing lots of kind of like that volcanic red hue on both sides of the coin. But this 2-coin collection sold for $1,260. A really, really neat 2-coin set. All right, so I don't typically talk about, you know, these obsolete gold coins, okay, but this one, as minor as the error is, believe it or not, is kind of a rarity on any early gold coin. So what we have here is an 1850 New Orleans. You can see the big letter O at the underneath the ribbon on the wreath, on the reverse of the coin. But what we have here is a cute little rim clip, out of all things. So that's on there, and that's the error on this particular coin, but it made its way halfway through the list just based off of the sheer rarity of any mint errors being found on early gold. Okay, they seem to have taken a lot of pride in the craftsmanship of their early gold coins. So this one right here is a PCGS Mint State 61. It's a nice, you know, grade for the coin. Minor rim clip, and boy is it minor, because if it was on a Lincoln cent, it would be worth more than maybe 50 cents to $1. So this particular example here sold for $2,040. Whereas the coin without the rim clip, you're probably talking somewhere in that $1,000 to $1,500 range. So there is a little bit of a premium involved when it comes to a mint error on these gold coins. Now this one's cool. I'm going to admit this one was either cherry picked or found in change. Probably very doubtful that it was found in change, but I'm more leaning on cherry picked out of a group of just cull Liberty head nickels, or maybe it was in an album or a collection that was passed down. But I know for a fact that these coins are widely cherry picked between the Liberty head nickels and the Buffalo nickels. Or as a matter of fact, I was lucky enough to cherry pick like a 1916 double struck Buffalo nickel back in I don't know, it was like 1999. It was a long time ago at a coin show. But these are really neat coins. It's something you could certainly stare at for about 10 minutes to really, appreciate the beauty of, the U.S. Mint's screw-ups. But this one right here, the cool part, what I like most about this double struck nickel is that the second strike is a little bit off-center. So it's offset. You can see the second set of stars here. You can see the main set of stars. You can see the date kind of just morphing into the Liberty's bust at this point. And then on the reverse, it's simply dramatic. All right, you see the two Roman numeral V for 5 says cents here, and it says cents again right in the middle of the wreath. Just a really striking, very beautiful coin, for its grade. Check this out. NGC VG10. This thing has been through many hands, okay? And at first glance, for people that really aren't adept to U.S. coin errors, this might come off as like damaged, like a vice job. You guys have heard that before, pressing two coins together to try and replicate the same results that you see on this particular coin. So how much should this bad boy sell for? Well, I'm happy to say it brought home $3,360. A neat piece. Congratulations to the seller and the buyer. This is a phenomenal coin. It is my favorite out of the 8 on the list. All right, coming up next here. This is an odd one. It's a 1948 S Washington quarter that was struck on a 5-cent nickel planchet. Okay, much like what we saw earlier in the broadcast. Okay, these coins again exist for between like $200-300 to as high as $1,000 a piece. However, this one right here, because of its age, because it's a much older coin than the others that are like 40 years newer, this one is exponentially more tougher to find because of the date. So this one right here is a Pcgs Au 55. Here we go with the about and circulated grades again. This one, I have a feeling, was circulated for a while, but keeping in mind, it's not silver. It's nickel composition. So it's a 75% nickel, 25% core of copper. So it'll make a very different sound than your standard 90% silver Washington quarter. So this one right here sold for $3,600. Holy smokes. Serious money for this coin. All right, another neat one on here. Another Liberty nickel. This time, talk about your off planchet strikes. We have a 1907 Liberty head that is just in amazing condition. This one is a phenomenal looking coin. This one was struck on an early cent planchet. As you guys know, 1907. It was also intended for the 1907 or thereabouts Indian head cents. So this one right here exhibits a really nice chocolatey brown. I mean, you do have a little bit of this kind of colored occlusion right here. Not sure what that is. I mean, it graded straight and clean. So there were, I think, 5 or 6 of these in varying different dates that were sold during this CSNS auction as far as errors. So, there was one like 1903, there was like 1898, I believe, a few others that they all look phenomenal. But this one, because of how it looks on the coin and how, kind of offset it is, but you have a full date, lots of detail. You can see Liberty really well on the crown right there, which is huge on these Liberty nickels. This one, graded PCGS, here we go again, Au 58. So what's the deal? Did these things circulate for a while? You know, people at the time knew what a Liberty Head nickel was because they've been out since 1883. So 24 years later, this thing circulated. Nobody even batted an eye early enough to save this one as a mid-state example. It's really strange. What's even strange is that the other like 5 examples were all like AU55, AU58. So, you know, it's kind of curious how these things can circulate and nobody would even notice. Okay, even mint errors back in the early 1900s were worth money, but with all the inflation, of course, you know, if I told you that these were like $20 a piece in 1910, you'd be like, oh, that's it. But you know, $20 in 1910 is like a grocery shopping trip. It's, you know, it's substantial money for its time. So this one right here, get this, sold for $5,280. Wow, what an incredible coin. This is probably my second favorite on the list. And then finally, the number one of it all is going to be this candy half dollar with like 99 problems. And the strike is all of them. So what do we have here? This is obviously an undated candy half dollar that was struck on an already produced Jefferson nickel, okay? And it even exhibits a little bit of brockage right here. So as far as the candy being struck on the nickel, you can see some of the devices from the nickel, more on the reverse than you can the obverse, but you can see part of the motto, "In God We Trust." I mean, this thing looks like dog meat, but it is about the size of a nickel. You can see the left-hand portion of Monticello right here. You can see the E of E pluribus unum in there. This thing is amazing. Probably not one that you'll come across, you know, in estate lots or collections or things of that nature. This one is highly identifiable as something very, very unique and very special. So this one right here is an NGC Mid-State 66. A very high grade. It was caught early, obviously. But this one right here sold for $6,300. Ladies and gentlemen, all 8 coins, actually 10 coins. Take that back. There were a couple 2-coin lots. Realized $24,030 collectively between all 10 coins. Simply amazing. Very good show. Very good lineup of error coins. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you for watching. As always, like, share, subscribe to Blue Ridge Silverhound. All the support helps tremendously. Love you guys. Thank you for all the support. And as always, Coinaholics, we are discovering together. So until next time, keep collecting, enjoy the hobby, and I will see you on the next show.